Bien into the feet of Leon. Leon shot and will find a way through. It's number 40 for Adriana Leon. Lacasse, she's in the clear. Chloe Lacasse, yes, it's two.
The scene has shifted from Montreal to Toronto, but the opponents remain the same. It's Canada versus Mexico. In Game 1, the Canadians looked sharper in the second half, scoring both goals in the latter 45 to win 2-0. Will they dominate from start to finish this time, or will Mexico rise to the occasion and spoil the Olympic send-off party? It's Matchday Live, presented by CIBC, and you are watching right here on One Soccer. Hello, everyone. Andy Petrillo, Jordan Wilson, Jess Lisi with you here. This is the second of 2 games against Mexico for Canada. Yes, the Olympic send-off series. One more game will probably happen before the Olympics. That will most likely be behind closed doors, but we know these games are crucial for Bev Priestman in trying to figure out her 18-player roster for the Olympics. Now, I think we'll have probably a better answer after this second game. We'll have a little bit more of an indication of whose stock has gone up, maybe whose stock has gone down. But before this tournament, Jordan, I did ask you to put together a list of who you felt would be the locks and who would be the bubble players here for Bev Priestman. So after that first game, 2-0 victory for them. Where are your locks? Where are your bubble players?
I just want to say I'm always obedient. Anything you ask me to do, I do. So I've done this in promptly time as well. Look at 2 keepers. I don't think anyone can argue with that. Or the back 3, Gilles Buchanan and Jade Rose. I think they're on the plane. Fleming, Lawrence, Riviere, for me, are locks. And then the midfield 3 that we were talking about to partner with Fleming. Grosso, Quinn, Araujo, all add something different. I think are all needed. And Bev really speaks about them highly. And then for me, the forwards, Leon, Lacasse, Heidema, Prince, I feel like you can't really leave those players at home. So that's 15, ladies and gentlemen, but only 18 can go. And I'm gonna start with Olivia Smith. For me, I think she should be 16th to go. She's on the bubble only because, again, a bit green as a player, still trying to get used to the team. I think her not playing in the She Believes maybe just put her behind a little bit, but there aren't any players for me on this national team that can do what she does. She's a raw talent, shoots from distance, great on set pieces and corners. I think she's someone that would just add to this team, Jess.
Yeah, you know what? I think Olivia Smith is a great player. We've had this conversation a few times. I'm not sure if she's necessarily ready. I do think that in the attack, she brings something that none of the other forwards have. I will say that time and time again. We've spoken about it, but I do think that there are other aspects to her game, such as defensive, being aware of where to be tactically. She's a little lost at times. Sometimes you see the fitness kind of creep in there as the minutes go on. But I do think she would be a weapon off the bench, so I'm not completely disagreeing with you. I don't think she's ready to be a starter yet, but I definitely think that she's made a case for herself.
Do I have to point out the elephant in the room? Did you have Janine Becky as a bubble player?
I do.
Why?
The reason for that is, look, there's some players, and I think Janine Becky is one of those players that you can't really look past. You look at a lineup, you look when the women's national team are playing, you think of Janine Becky. But when you're looking at the competition in certain spots, Viens may be making a little stint. Rose. You also have to put Zadorsky as well. Maybe need another defender, Jess Lisi, for someone who might get injured. So you're already looking at 16, 17. Right now, she could be a bubble player because I would take Viens, I would take Smith. That already leaves one more spot, and maybe you put Zadorsky there. And I didn't even mention Gabby Carl. Like, for me, is she a lock into the squad? I don't think so right now. Don't shoot me, anyone. But this is just my humble opinion from watching the matches.
Bev Priestman has made it perfectly clear that she doesn't have her 18 set. When you are a bubble player, this is a position you've actually been in.
I've been in
what does it feel like to hear your coach say that, and how do you approach this game?
So I think you can take it 2 ways. I've actually taken it both ways before. So I think there's, the aspect of you feel the weight on your shoulders, you go into the game, every little mess up kind of throws you off. You're like, that's the reason I'm not going to make it. You get into your head, you get negative. But the other side of it is you take the weight off your shoulders. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to do everything I can. And if it doesn't pan out the way I want, at least I know I contributed everything I could have to this game. And at least I made a case for myself. At the end of the day, coaches are making decisions based on more than just, a couple performances. And, to Jordan's point about Becky. I think you're crazy. You know, I think that she hasn't been performing well, but I do think that she's a comfort player for Bev Priestman. I think that she brings that leadership side. So it would be kind of crazy to leave her off. So I do think that she's a lock.
And I do wonder, because I know on your locks as well, you have Quinn and you also have Nichelle Prince, and to an extent Jordan Heidema, who has that back injury. So you're locking in some injured players.
Because they're the fabric of the team. Okay. Like a Nichelle Prince, I take her at 70%. I think even if 20 minutes left in a big game for Canada at the Olympics and she's 70%, I think Bev Priestman was looking, I like my odds there and going and playing her. Quinn as well. I think if they're healthy, you need them on the squad.
Oliver Platt on location inside BMO Field caught up earlier with Bev Priestman.
Bev, obviously there's a lot more that goes into roster selection than just one game, but are there things you're looking for tonight that can clarify your thinking?
Yeah, I think so. I think in reality there's players that I need to get on and there's players that I needed to start. And yeah, I mean, I've said it that I need to go away unemotional from this particular tour and look at everything, but absolutely, I think any player that steps on the pitch tonight is trying to book their spot to Paris.
Two of those players that come in, Evelyn Vienne and Chloe Lacasse, impressed obviously last time out. Is the message just more of the same there?
Yeah, absolutely. I always want to reward good performances, and I thought both of them came in and impacted the game and maybe give us something we'd missed in the first half in behind. So yeah, both of them I thought they did really, really well, and I want to reward that performance, give them another shot.
It's a beautiful night for football, and this is the end of the send-off series, obviously. Do you feel some kind of positive momentum building in the group going into Paris?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we had a really special moment here. You know, the last time we were BMO was when we booked our ticket to Paris in a bit of adversity. And I said to the players today, we haven't looked back. You know, we've really chased coming away from being in the harbour and getting in deep water and pushing forward, and I want tonight, this chapter, to end doing exactly the same before we turn that page and head to Paris.
Thank you, Bev. Good luck tonight.
Bev had to put her sunglasses on because she was looking up. That's how tall our Oliver Platt is. As we bring you the starting 11 brought to you by GE Appliances. So yes, Chloe Lacasse, Evelyn Vienne getting the start here tonight. Simia Wujo going on in as well. We saw Julia Grosso get that start last time out. Shalina Zadorsky, 100 cap for her tonight. Vanessa Gilles getting the rest here. Obviously, Bev loves what Vanessa Gilles brings, but she's played a lot of football lately. In fact, her team was in UEFA Champions League final as well. So she said, I just want to give her a bit of a rest here tonight. So Buchanan and Jade Rose will fill out that back line. Let's bring in the tall man who's on location at BMO Field. That is Oliver Platt. And Ollie, let's look up front because Bev has also said the thing that's probably keeping her up the most, choosing forwards. Why has Evelyn Vienne turned her head?
Well, I think she did it with her performance off the bench, obviously, against Mexico, and also with her club form. Like, she's a player who's in top form right now, the top scorer in Italy. And look, from a personal point of view, I'd be looking at the way Evelyn Vienne is playing, and I'd be trying really hard to get her in this squad. Particularly with Nichelle Prince, you're just not quite sure where her fitness is going to be and if she can get through a tournament. That being said, I don't think it's that simple, right? It's not necessarily just about kind of plug and play. Vienne comes into the team as a starter tonight and it's guaranteed goals. I think there's more to it than that, and there's more of an emphasis, whoever plays centre forward for Canada, in bringing certain qualities that bring out the best in the likes of Adriana Leon, Janine Becky, Chloe Lacasse, the players who play just behind the centre forwards and who are so important for Canada. So Vienna's got to show those things. I think she did on Saturday against Mexico. She did a really good job of getting in behind that defence and stretching the line. Bev Priestman will be looking for more of the same here.
Jess, this is also a good test for Evelyn because Bev has said every time she has started, she hasn't been the most comfortable, which is why she calls Evelyn Vienne a super sub, because she comes off the bench, looks fantastic. So how big of an opportunity is this for her to get the start and perhaps show that she can hit the ground running?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an awesome opportunity. You know, to Ollie's point, she has been doing well with the time that she's been given. Most of the time coming off the bench, she's done very well for them. She does well in club. And I also think Evelyn Vienne adds an aspect that Canada doesn't have in a Nichelle Prince in a center forward role. She's more of that traditional 9. She's that big body, likes to hold the ball up and be able to lay off and feed her quicker players on the flank. So I think Evelyn Vienne can, you know, she has to prove tonight that she can get that starting position and that she isn't just somebody that's going to have to come off the bench.
When we look at that midfield, Ollie, Simia Wujo seems to, speaking of once again just turning Bev's head, really has caught the attention of the head coach. This is a player, as we know, got the start against the Americans as well. What is it that you think she is impressed by when it comes to Simia Wujo?
Yeah, I think she's becoming just a very natural partner for Jessie Fleming, and that's an area of the pitch that we've talked a lot about and maybe had a lot of debate about, and there still will be in terms of the roster selection, but I think is actually becoming quite a lot clearer. I think Fleming and Awujo is the best partnership, particularly in the big games when you need a player who can cover a lot of grass, has that great athleticism that Awujo has to go along with the technical ability and the comfort on the ball. So you'll use Quinn in games where you maybe need a bit more control, lower ranked opponents that are a bit more difficult to break down. I think Quinn gives you that. Julia Grosso is the question mark in terms of does she make the 18 for me or the alternate roster. But Awujo, I think, is starting to establish herself as that preferred partner to Jessie Fleming.
This is how cutthroat this is. I always say this is great for us as analysts to talk about the depth of the team, Jordan, because it would be, just preposterous for a lot of people who just tune into the Olympics to think Julia Grosso, who scored the winning penalty kick, could be on the bubble and possibly not on that plane, but it also just shows the growth of players like Awujo.
Yeah, 2 years ago we weren't talking about Simia Awujo, but I think she's played herself into this team. And we talk about options. When I pull up to the studio, chocolate covered almonds I have. I also have some Sour Patch Kids. You say you don't want any, but sometimes you seem to dabble in both. Coaches want, just like all guilty. Coaches want options. You want to maybe play a Grosso who is very good on the ball, can go north to south, can skip past a player, but maybe you need someone like Awujo that is a bit more robust, can do both. I think she has a more upside than Quinn and Grosso, but you still need those options in the midfield.
Yeah, you know what? Options. Okay, fruit. Just bring fruit,
I'll bring that
Jordan.
next time. That'll be the third.
Ollie, final one for you is in that left wing-back role. Jade Revere once again getting the start here tonight. Does that kind of give you any indication of where Bev is leaning when it comes to that position, which, of course, Sydney Collins being injured. She's also tried Gabby Carl there. What are you making of Jade Revere getting the start once again?
Yeah, I think as much as anything, Jade Revere just needs minutes, and I think that's why she started both games in this camp. This is a player with a ton of upside. Like, let's not forget that, how we were talking about Jade Revere a couple of years ago. There's a reason she signed for Manchester United out of college. It's just been injuries that have slowed her progress over the past 12 months or so. And she's played, I think, just over half the minutes that Gabby Carl has in this system since the World Cup, where obviously Canada have changed the way they want to play, and they're playing these players as more as wing-backs rather than full-backs. So I think it's reps for her. Carl has proven herself as dependable, very reliable. I think she's got a strong shot to make the roster as a result of that. And then Sydney Collins, obviously, is the wild card who, if she can get fit and get back from injury, and maybe it's a long shot at this point, I'm not sure, that would certainly mix things up a bit in terms of being able to maybe pick 2 of 3 there.
All right, well, Ollie, enjoy the match. We'll see you at halftime. Oliver Platt inside BMO Field. Canada once again taking on Mexico. Over the weekend, they defeated them 2-0. As we bring you Mexico's starting 11, brought to you by GE. Their head coach, Pedro Lopez, said that he felt they actually matched up quite nicely against Canada. They expected exactly what the Canadians were bringing. He felt where they lost out was in the physical duels. They just felt like they were getting pushed off the ball a little bit too much, losing the 1v1 kind of challenges there. So he's like, I think we're a little bit better prepared here tonight. We'll find out. We'll see. Because the Canadians, especially in that second half after the substitutions, looked really good against Mexico. Canada going to the Olympics. We know Mexico is not, but the Mexicans are the reigning Pan American champions. So a great test here for Canada.
From the edge of your seat or up on your feet, let them hear you cheer.
Access Storage, proudly supporting Canada Soccer's women's national team on their road to Paris 2024.
From the edge of your seat or up on your feet, let them hear you cheer.
This match is brought to you by CIBC, Canada Soccer's lead partner.
Allstate and its 900 agents proudly support Canadian soccer at every level. Visit allstate.ca.
I think when it just happened, I think I was definitely just around family and friends, like thinking about it a lot more. I think now, once in a while, it'll pop up again, and I'll definitely think about it or like family or friends will just like send me a video of like 3 years ago today, something like that. But yeah, I think it's once in a while it pops up, but I don't think it's as much as it was when it was happening for sure.
One more for Grosso, tapped back by Heidema! Julia Grosso!
Every midfielder brings something different, and I think we all, I think, different partnerships work really well with each other, and at practice, playing with different midfielders has been really cool, and I think it's great. I love having younger players come in and bringing, and also bringing just more fluidity in there, and even the experienced players, just building that partnership with each other on and off the field has been great, and I think the better it is, the more challenging and the better each player will get.
Couple of times, falls for Grosso. Back to her right, takes it, oh, that gets through!
We want to go there to defend gold, but at the same time, we can't think about the past or about the future. It's just where our 2 feet are, and just kind of focus at game at a time and kind of block the outside noise. But I think this team's really good at doing that and just being present. And yeah, I think going into the Olympics, a lot of teams are going to want to get that gold from us and just kind of, but I think for us, just kind of sticking to our process and just being where we are and not worrying too much about that. I think it's incredible. I think, growing up, I always went to games with my family to watch the Canadian national team, and I think now it's really incredible for the youth generations growing up to have a league and something to inspire them on a weekly basis to go and attend those games. So I think it's really cool, and I think it's a really exciting time for Canada soccer to have more female athletes join and get excited and want to be on those teams as well, and that's only going to benefit the national team for sure.
Second touch, Grosso breaks them down! 3 goals in 2 matches for Julia Grosso!
I feel like for me, it's kind of like I always like to follow my heart and what I feel is right in this moment of time, and I don't want to think in the past or too far in the future of where I might want to be. It's just kind of where I need to be right now, and so that's all I can share.
Welcome back to Matchday Live, presented by CIBC. Kickoff right around the corner between Canada, Mexico, inside BMO Field in Toronto. Andy, Jordan, Jess with you. We know that Bev Priestman is not scared to make last-minute changes to her roster if she feels they will give her the best chance to win at the Paris Olympics, which then means these games are pretty crucial for players. So if you're looking at this game here tonight, Jess, 1 or 2 players you think really need to have a big showing?
I think Vienne, and I'm going to go Carl. I think, you know, Vienne, we spoke about her before. I think that she's somebody that has shown glimpses of greatness, but we haven't seen her be consistently great in all of her appearances with Canada. And like you said, she's starting, and she has to prove something to Bev because she hasn't shown well when she does start. And then Gabby Carl, I think that left back position is pretty wide open still. I think Revere is somebody that, you know, you turn to and you say, okay, she's been starting in the past. Sydney Collins is out. I do think Gabby Carl still has a shot at this, and I think that, you know, she did well in the last matchup, and I think that when she has gotten the opportunity, she's done well with her time. So she's another one for me. I think that when she goes out there today, she's just got to give it her all, and she can potentially get herself on this roster.
Okay.
The homie just called me crazy because I said Janine Becky's on the bubble, and what I mean by that, I think this is just a moment where there are players that are nipping at her heels, or dare I say that are more than competent at the position that she's trying to play, whether that be wing back or in the front three. So you need a confident performance. You need to show Bev that you're not behind or you're kind of caught up to the rest of the group because they've kind of taken a leap since she's been injured. I'd say Olivia Smith as well when she comes on. Just whatever X factor is, you know that she loves to strike the ball. She's very direct, great on set pieces. I think she needs to show that as well. And just gently remind Bev Priestman, don't leave me. Take me to Paris because this is what I offer every time I play.
Yeah, and again, I did ask you as well about those injured players that you have in as locks, but you have to wonder how frustrating it is even for a Nichelle Prince, who is back. Yeah. Precautionary reasons not going to play. Jordan Huitema, again, back injury. Doesn't seem like she's going to play either because Bev's like, well, I know what I have in her. I don't want to put her in a position either. Maybe she goes out and injures herself. But I wonder how frustrating that is for an injured player, too, though, not to get on the pitch.
No, for sure. And I mean, Jess has been around as well. Like, when you see that, you're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's being in limbo, it's a very peculiar situation for a player.
All right, well, it all gets started for the Canadian women as well, July 25th at the Paris Olympics. But in the meantime, Bev does have another game and possibly another one behind closed doors before the Paris Olympics to assess her players and really nail down that 18-player roster. The fans are ready. You're ready at home. Let's bring you the Olympic send-off on One Soccer.
Canada's women's national team on One Soccer is brought to you by Toyota.
Toyota's electrified vehicles are for everyone. Every chauffeur, snack connoisseur, every scenery soaker, practical joker, every road tripper, toe dipper, every 9-to-5er, every long driver. Starting over 20 years ago with the Prius, we now have the largest lineup of electrified vehicles in Canada because this journey belongs to everyone.
Access Storage, proudly supporting Canada Soccer's women's national team on their road to Paris 2024.
Gatorade, with electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat, carbs to help fuel your working muscles, and fluids to help you hydrate. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing.
I do this for my town, my time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade.
CanadaSoccerStore.com is the official home for the widest range of Canada Soccer licensed product, match jerseys, and fanwear.
In 5 years, we'll be doing this, but in Japan.
In 5 years, my family will be joining me.
I'll be living in the city. Not living in the city.
In 5 years, I'll be king of the court.
I'll be playing for Canada.
I'll be playing for Canada.
In 5 years, where won't I be in 5 years?
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
Well, a very pleasant good evening. It is a beautiful late spring evening on Exhibition Place in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and their summer send-off series has arrived at BMO Field on the shoreline of Lake Ontario. And multiple thousands of rowdy Canadian soccer supporters have packed the house, and a few Mexican supporters were allowed through the gates as well for a second international friendly just a span of a few days. The first at Stade Saputo on Saturday. Canada with a convincing second half performance to win by 2-0, and right back to work here at BMO Field. For the first time since Canada punched their ticket to the 2024 Paris Summer Olympic Games. And now it's time for tune-ups and final roster decisions for Bev Priestman and her staff. She makes 5 changes to the group today. We will introduce you to each and every one of those when the time is right. But for now, we say good evening. You're very welcome inside BMO Field. It is Adam Jenkins and Eva Havaris. Eva, the players minutes away from walking through the tunnel, less than that now. Big game for Bev Priestman. It's usually a big game for the players, and yes, it's still a big game for the players, but she has to get some more definitive answers on this group. What are you expecting out of tonight's international friendly?
Adam, a much better performance, full stop from Canada. I thought that they actually helped Mexico look stronger than truly what they were in that match. Just an all-around better performance, and a team that's just more hungry to just take it to them, get these pairings going, get the linkage going, better in attacking third. Just, again, a better performance from Canada all around.
And Canada, though, they will be expected to win this match. They have never lost to the Mexicans in Canada. They have only lost to them twice in 28 previous meetings. They've actually played here at BMO Field before. That was back in 2019. Then a send-off match as well to the Women's World Cup 2019 in front of 19,610 supporters. A packed house once again for today's Pride celebration match. The rainbow numbers on the front and backs of the Canadian shirts. They make their way through the tunnel and prepare for the playing of the national anthems. After the conclusion of those, we'll introduce you to the starting 11s and bring you all the latest team news right here at BMO Field in Toronto, an international friendly Les Rouges and El Tri.
Canada Soccer is proud to take this opportunity to recognize a key member of Canada Soccer's women's national team program on her recent career appearances milestone. On hand to make the presentation is Canada Soccer President Peter Abruzzo and Canada Soccer board member Kelly Brown. Fans making her 100th international appearance for Canada with her start in tonight's match as a 2-time Olympic medalist. Please join us in congratulating Ontario's own Shalina Zadorsky. Fans, let's hear it one more time for Shalina on her incredible international career thus far and this outstanding achievement of 100 caps for country. Fans, could you now please rise if you're able and remove your hats for the national anthem of Mexico. Please remain standing and raise your Canada colors proudly in the air and join us in singing "O Canada."
Always a top-notch atmosphere here at BMO Field and Toronto as Canada, the world's number 9 ranked nation, takes on Mexico, the world number 31. Two CONCACAF rivals going head-to-head.